HobbyMaker are live from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day on Sky Channel 670, Freesat Channel 807 and Freeview Channel 73. You can also watch on YouTube via some smart TVs, your computer and phone.
HobbyMaker are proud to work alongside some of the biggest brands in the industry. Keep watching for these brands and many more here on HobbyMaker.
Hello, good morning everybody, welcome along. It is Wake Up to HobbyMaker. Hope you're well, hope you've had a lovely evening and a lovely good sleep. And yeah, great to be back from your holes. Look who's here, Kerry's back.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Are you refreshed after your holiday?
Yeah, I think so.
You seem very calm.
It was only a week away.
Today.
You know what, when you go away for a week, it's never enough.
No, it's not.
Like 2 weeks sometimes is a bit too long, but a week's never enough.
Oh, I'm always ready to come home even after a
you?
week. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not very good at not doing much, so unless
I'm
we've got
good
a
at
fun
not doing much.
pack.
That's my thing. That's my thing. Yeah, well, welcome to HobbyMaker. We're here through until 8 o'clock, of course, with Wake Up to HobbyMaker, and of course between 1 and 6 this afternoon, we've got an afternoon of goodies lined up for you, including the debut here on HobbyMaker of the actual fantastic kind of cutting machine. That's coming up a bit later on. Now, what we've got for you coming up in the next couple of hours are fantastic sewing kits from Kerry. You're on Sewing Street later as well.
We are, yes, that's right.
So that's going to be totally different products to what we've got in the show this morning. And we've got some kits. I mean, Kerry, tell me about yourself and what you actually do, your business.
The main thing that we do is produce patterns and kits. I quite like working with fat quarters, showing people how to get the most from fat quarters. And the projects actually that we've got for you today, these are some of our best-selling projects. Nice to organise you, and in particular we like making sure you've got everything in there to get you started. So great if you're a beginner, or great if you like me and need organising a little bit more.
Fantastic. So these kits that we've got coming up, we've got some really easy makes for you. So whether you're a beginner or whether you're more advanced, it's going to be something that you can rustle up relatively quickly. And great gift ideas too.
Great gift ideas.
Yeah, we've got things like book covers, we've got a mini iPad cover as well, which is like an organiser. And we've also got a fantastic cosmetic bag for you. But to be honest with you, although we say cosmetic bag can be used for absolutely everything. So if I just show you here, this is coming up a bit later on. Now you name your kits after members of your family.
Yes, that's right, yes. So the one that you're holding up at the moment is the Yasmine Cosmetic Bag. This was actually the third pattern that we wrote when we very first started doing patterns about 3 years ago, and it's one of our bestsellers. So we thought we'd bring that. Nice project for Christmas, great if you're a beginner. And as you mentioned, it is a cosmetic bag, but it's I tend to find it's easy to put your threads, and you've got your little pockets for your pens on the front as well.
You could put your crafting pens in there, your alcohol pens, whatever it may be. So a little bit of something for everybody. We've got some ribbon, we've got some zips in the show. We've also got some batting for you. So if you're running out of that, you just need some extras of that. The sewing in batting is coming up as well. So there's lots to look forward to between now and 8 o'clock. And then, of course, depending on what platform you're watching us on, you've then got Sewing Street, and you've also got Jewellery Maker as well between 8 and 1. And then we're back with HobbyMaker between 1 and 6. So lots to look forward to throughout this day today. And get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to email us, it's studio@hobbymaker.co.uk. That's the email address. You can also get in touch with us via the website as well, which is hobbymaker.co.uk. And then there's a little area where it says contact the studio. You can just send us a message that goes through to the gallery. They can put that on the screen as well. So get in touch with us. Say hello. Tell us what you're making. Tell us what you're up to. We do this every single day of the week. Share your makes. If you've made anything, whether it's a bag, whether it's a cover for something, whether it's a card or whatever it might be, share your makes. We give a £100 credit every single month. Last Saturday of the month, we award that to someone's account, and it could be you that gets it just by sending a picture. Make it a thing that you do every day when you've made something, rather than just put it in the drawer or put it in a plastic wallet or whatever to go and sell at the craft fair. Take a picture of it, send it to us. You never know, it could be you that gets that luck of the draw once a month, last Saturday of every single month. And we've had loads of great winners recently.
It's always nice to take photos of what you've made as well. So, when you're revisiting those 6 months later, you can see just just how far you've come. You know, when I look at some of the projects I first started making, it's quite nice to see what you've been up to.
I mean, we are one of the easiest communities to get involved with, just within email, but also we're one of the biggest as well. As you can show and showcase your makes to so many people just by taking one picture, one email, send it in to us, and everyone can be inspired with what you're doing. Now, what we've got to start off with is this. Now, I don't know if you've got an iPad mini at home. Even if you haven't, this is perfect for an A5 notebook or journal, whatever it might be. This is the mini iPad cover, and it's got a combination of two different fabrics, hasn't it?
That's right. So this one is featuring your Liberty. So that's the beautiful floral that you can see on the front.
It's kind of iconic. It instantly kind of screams at your Liberty, doesn't it?
It is definitely, Liberty is definitely one of those fabrics you know you've got when working with a Liberty fabric. And normally, and in the other projects, I would accompany the fabric with another Liberty, but I particularly loved this design. So the other design that you see in there on the binding and on the inside, that's a Michael Miller fabric. So again, another beautiful designer fabric, but I just really liked that and thought it worked really well with the Liberty.
And you've got the pen slots in here as well, so it doesn't have to be for a mini iPad.
No, not at all. I mean, I tend to use mine. I've got one for a mini iPad. In fact, this one's called Chase after my little boy because he's always on his.
That's a great name, Chase.
On his,
I like that.
on his iPad. It's his birthday this weekend.
Oh, is it?
As well. Yeah. So it's an exciting week for him this weekend. But for myself, this is just great. Something great to have in your handbag, your craft bag with your notebook in there, your pens. You know, you got your little slots here. I mean, everything I work with, I tend to turn into a sewing project, but it was really designed either to keep your iPad or your A6 notebook in there as well.
And, you know, your kits are fantastic because, you know, you've got everything in here you need.
Yeah.
Apart from thread.
That's it. So what we like to do with all of our kits, and certainly the ones we've bought for you today, is make it as easy as possible, as accessible as possible. And, you know, these are great for gifts or great for yourself as well. I mean, if I was buying this, I'd be making it, having the pleasure of making it and then gifting this as well. It's got your batting in there, which is wonderful to work with. It gives that wonderful plush feeling. And especially if you're going to put an iPad mini in there, it'll protect your screen in there as well. You've got your two coordinating fabrics and the ribbon as well. So you've got 1 metre of that beautiful navy satin ribbon to wrap around. And
it feels so luxurious. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it really, really does. I mean, the tactile aspect of Liberty fabric is superb. And the design,
And
superb.
the other thing as well is people always ask, can we use an interface? And a lot of my projects use interfacing. This is one of the projects that I think it really needs to be your batting, so it's nice and...
Yeah, I mean, you want it cushioned, you want it protected, whatever's in there, whether it's your pens you want to protect, your iPad mini that you want to protect or whatever. And it feels great, it looks great, it's presumably a very easy make.
Yes, very easy indeed. All of the projects that we've bought you today. In fact, it feels really strange to be here not doing Christmas. This is the first show where we've got nothing Christmassy on. So it's quite nice to do some projects to give you a little bit of inspiration for Christmas.
You say about Christmas, I mean, okay, this isn't necessarily Christmassy, but it makes a fantastic Christmas gift, whether you're gifting the actual pack or whether you're actually kind of gifting what you've made from it. And it's 10 weeks on Sunday, evidently, to Christmas. Before I went on holiday, I think that was the first few days that they were putting stuff out in the shops for Christmas. Like the big
it's quite
supermarkets.
exciting to see all the Christmassy things. I love it.
I'm sure it gets earlier every year. Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's my favourite time of the year, definitely. And maybe you're starting your Christmas shopping. Are you going to maybe gift this kit? Are you going to gift what you've made? You've got enough time. There's 10 weeks from this weekend before Christmas. You've got enough time to run this up. How long would that take you to make?
Well, we're going to make this in the first hour today. It really does depend whether you're a beginner sewer, but I would say it's an afternoon project for sure, even if you're a beginner sewer.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like that sort of thing. I mean, I'm a little bit of an impatient crafter. I do love the process of crafting, and I love, you know, things that take a long time as well, but I also love things that are really quick and easy and satisfying. If you've got really low attention span like me, something like this is absolutely superb. So yes, not only can you put your iPad mini in there, but how many of you have got, and I've got an A5 organizer. I am into technology. I've got a watch that's technical. I've got an iPad and that sort of thing as well. But I also love physical things like paper and a diary. And
see, I'm really old school. I'm not very technical at all. So anything where I can pop a notebook and my pens is ideal for me, really.
So you've got all the little pockets here. We've got things like your needles in there, your scissors in there. You've got little pockets for your pens, whether it be your fabric pens, like we've got one of those in the show actually, heat erasable fabric pen. But you could also put your markers in there as well, your fine liners spinners, if you're into your tangling, anything like that at all. But it's a very quick and simple and easy kit to put together. And you've got that extra bonus of the love of Liberty fabric on the top there. Now, details will be coming up soon on the screen for this. Should we start making this?
Shall we?
Is that okay?
Yeah, let's
get
go
into
for
a demo if we can. A nice easy start to the day, which is lovely.
Nice and gentle. It's been really nice and relaxing this morning.
It's cool.
So with all of our projects, if you've never used our patterns before, what I'd always recommend you do, now there is always a welcome letter in every one of the patterns that recommends transferring the letters. So when I'm referring to the letters, it's these letters here. So every piece in your pattern has a title of what that particular piece is and also the letter as well. Now, because we're working with a navy fabric, you'll find it much easier if you just either pin or clip your template to each piece.
Okay.
And then what I tend to do is to just then lay it out in the order that I'm working with. So you can shuffle these around if you want to. You know, if you're making this a few times, you might want to put the pockets in a different order. We have got that trio of pockets there. Now I've put some needles and a pair of scissors in there. What I'll talk you through when we come to do the pockets is if you are going to put things in there, you might want to reduce the size of your pocket, because originally they're put in there to be like sort of your notes. So if you're travelling and you've got some little notes or some tickets and things.
Sure.
So what we'll do first of all is to just start working with the pockets. So the first one we've got here, this is for that little pen pocket. So I've got my two pieces of fabric. On your pattern booklet as well, you'll notice that I make reference which fabrics to use, so you're getting the most from your kits.
Okay, cool.
And the first thing that we're going to do is this binding. So we've just got the smallest piece of fabric here. I love putting binding onto pockets. One, it gets an opportunity to showcase the fabric, and two, it's just a nice way to finish off the pockets as well. So with the wrong side of the binding facing up towards you, we're simply going to fold that in half. And just give that a little press.
I love these mini irons. We should have these on our website, by the way, as well, if you're in the market for a new iron.
They're so useful, especially with little projects like this. So the next thing we're doing is just placing this on top. So this is my small pocket for the pens there. I'm just aligning this fabric on the top raw edge. Now the fabrics I've chosen to work with are non-directional, but if you are using a fabric that's got a direction on there, just be mindful that your pockets are not upside, your design, sorry, is not upside down.
Because it is important to point out, you are going to get, of course, the pattern inside the kit as well. So if you've got other fabrics at home, once you've bought this kit and you've used up the fabric that's in it, you've of course got lots of opportunity to use your own fabrics you've got at home from your stash to make more and more and more of these. So it's a really good investment, actually.
So last year in 2021, one of the things that we did is we produced 22 patterns, actually. It finished in January this year. And it was 22 patterns showing you how to get 3 projects from 4 fat quarters. So, you know, we really like to teach you how to get the most from your fat quarters. And this was one of them that featured in that pattern. So, you know, the thing that's really important to me is using up every little minute scrap bit of fabric in your projects. So all I've done here is sewn across the top, used a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm just pressing the binding up. As we turn this over and fold this over the back, where your seam line is, we just want to make sure that folded side of the fabric is resting just below there.
Right.
And then we're going to pop this on the machine and zigzag stitch with this.
Is it still a bit of a kind of a pinch me moment when you realise that your passion is now your business?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's funny, really, because you know, my mum sews, my daughter sews. We're a very creative family, and
I bet they're chuffed what you do now, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I'm quite messy. So you know, I say we've got a unit, and I say I'm not bringing it home, but I can't help myself but take something home, so it migrates backwards and forwards.
Right.
And so my daughter definitely loves it because she's very creative. My husband works in the business with me, but he's not a huge fan when it keeps migrating back home, you know. But my mum loves it, of course. So what I'm doing here is just centering that foot, the sewing machine foot, on the seam between the binding and the fabric.
Yep.
And I'm zigzag stitching all along there. So yeah, in 2021, you know, when we were sort of, well, it's not 2021, sorry, when we were all in lockdown, one of the things I sort of promised myself and my mom is that, you know, when we come out, we'll have at least one weekend a month where we're going to get together and sew. And so it's just really nice to have little projects where we can get together, and it's really a lot of where the inspiration comes from, you know, nice fast projects that we can make up in a weekend together.
We hear from you with your emails, your messages, your comments, and lots of you do that. You know, lots of you craft together in groups, in friends groups or family groups, and maybe even start one. Think about setting one up. Let us know about it. We can actually kind of give it a little bit of a mention here on HobbyMaker as well, which is always nice.
So what I'm doing here is I'm just folding over this raw edge. This is the left-hand side. So when this sits on our panel, the raw edges here are all marrying up.
Yeah.
And then we're folding the seam over. So that's...
If you wanted to make that pocket, kind of divide it into 2 or 3, you could do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So inside mine, I've put pens in there. And you can notice when you're opening that up, you know, some of the items I've popped into the small pockets are sliding out. So what I would always say, you know, when you come to sew this in position, if you're thinking about putting your pens in like mine, or your equipment, your sewing, you know, or your crayons, whatever it is that you're working with, you know, place those out on the pocket and then work out where you're putting your sew lines.
Sure.
Because, as you say, you might just want it as one. You know, if you're using this and you're keeping it in your handbag, a notebook and tickets, if you go into events, you wouldn't want any in there at all.
No. So everyone will use this in a different way, and you can kind of personalise it to what the person's going to be using it for.
So the second one is our mini iPad or notebook pocket here.
And what fabric is that again?
This one's Michael Miller.
Michael Miller.
Beautiful,
right.
isn't it?
It is lovely,
I absolutely love this stitch supreme. In fact, I've used this in lots of different projects, but in different colourways. So we've had it in pink, we've had it in yellow. I just think it's a lovely project, a lovely fabric, but especially when you're binding something like this. So when I'm turning this over on the opposite side, on one side, so the left side, I'm going to put a single hem. So just folding that over and pressing. And on the opposite side, I'm going to do a double hem.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about craft groups. I'm back to teaching on Wednesday evenings this week. Yeah, so I've got my first evening class this week. Yeah. No, in person.
Oh, right.
So normally I do Wednesday daytimes in the morning, but it's our first evening class. And again, that's been inspired by my mom. She's been like, can we have Wednesdays back? Can we have Wednesdays back? I don't think I've done Wednesday evenings since before lockdown.
Where do you do that then? Is that in your unit or?
No, we hire a church hall and we go there. Our unit is very cold. It's an industrial unit, so it's incredibly cold and very messy. So probably not have people in there. Otherwise, I'd rope you into tidying up.
I'll be there.
So on this side, where we've got the double hem, again, I'm just going to zigzag stitch along here. You can use any stitch you want, but I like working with a zigzag stitch. One, it's decorative, and two, it just means, especially with something here like our binding, that you're catching that on both the back and the front.
Cool. And by the way, this afternoon, 3 o'clock, we've got the brand new launch of the Caterpillar range. If you are a crafting fan and have been watching crafting TV for many, many years, maybe you've even got a Caterpillar. If you have, message in, tell us what you think about it, and we'll read out your message a bit later on. studio@hobbymaker.co.uk. But yeah, looking forward to bringing the whole Caterpillar range here to HobbyMaker at 3 o'clock this afternoon. There's the email address, studio@hobbymaker.co.uk. Tell us what you think about it so that can inspire other people to take the plunge and maybe invest in that. Lots to look forward to this afternoon.
So that creates our second pocket. So what we'll do before we start making the smaller pockets here is we'll take that backing fabric and just pin these in position ready to sew these.
Okay.
So the measurements are in your pattern booklet and recommendations how to pop those into position, but actually they all naturally nest together. So as we just pin through there, just a couple of pins is fine. And then where we've folded this over here, we're then going to take that single hem, so the side we pop the single hem, and we're slightly, there we go, we're slightly overhanging that pocket. Mm-hmm. So that gives us a nice finish on there and tucks all of those in nice together.
I love the fact your patterns are so easy to follow as well, aren't they?
Oh, I'm all for easy. And, you know, you said that you like instant satisfaction, you know, you like to see things. I do a lot of quilting and a lot of quilt designing. It's really lovely, actually, to have projects that are really fast and easy to pop together. So one of the things that is really important to me, showing you how to get the most from your fat quarters.
Yeah.
So what I normally find when people come to classes, especially for the first time, is it's very exciting. You know, you go away and you stock up on all these beautiful fat quarters, and then it's how you use these up. And that really was where the inspiration for the these projects that featured in our Fabulously Fast Fat Quarter Fun series.
You know, your fabrics are important. They're your passion. I think most people I know that are sewers have got a massive stash of fabric that they may not use today, but they'll probably use tomorrow or next week or next month.
We have a growing stash of fabric.
Yes. That's healthy. That's good. And remember, you can make as many of these as you like from other fabrics that you've got at home as well. Once you've actually exhausted what's in the kit, you've still got the pattern that you can use again and again and again. And bear in mind, you know, something like this, if you are, can you make to sell? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes, we're happy for you to do that. It's nice, you know, if you're putting them on social media, you can tag us in those. Let us know what you've made with the patterns. But really, we're here to inspire you and to get you sewing, really. Yeah. So I'm more than happy for you to use the patterns.
Terrific.
So we've got our first two pockets on there now, and then we've got this little trio of pockets here on the side.
Okay.
So we've got the large, then we've got the medium. So in this, and I've slightly changed the templates to show you how to get the most from your fabric stash as well, so you're getting enough out of that kit.
And those paper templates, obviously they're paper, they are going to deteriorate with time. Do you recommend kind of laminating them?
Well, yeah, I mean, for these particular patterns today, each of these have got the templates in, and I know the feedback that we get from some people is they like cutting using their rotary cutter and their cutting mat. So I know a lot of people will go on, measure them and write the sizes on the bottom, so they're not in fact using the templates. And as you say, I know a lot of people are laminating these. I have great intentions of doing that. I've never got around to it. So with the trio of pockets there, what we're going to do is to just turn these over, and for each of those pockets along that top raw edge, again, we're going to do that double hem.
Okay. Nice and simple. It's a lovely, easy start to the morning, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I love Wake Up to HobbyMaker because, you know, you can watch other channels, but it's usually confrontational, it's usually newsy. But what we do is bring you your favourite hobbies. And this morning it's soft craft. What better way to start the day?
Oh, I think this is a fabulous way to start the day. And it's quite nice because I can leave everybody to do all the admin side of things. And I can say, right, I'm off now. See you, and have a whole day of sewing, relaxing. And in fact, it's a nice break when I come when I come here.
Now, if you're tempted by this kit, I can give you details for it right now. Apologies for the delay in putting that on the screen, but it's WXL184. WXL184. The whole kit is only $15.99. And if you think about how much an iPad mini costs you, you know, they're a good few £100s. You want to protect them. You want to be able to find it easily. This cover is going to do all of that for you. It's incredibly easy to find because the pattern is lovely and bold with that Liberty fabric. But also, of course, it's just a lovely thing. You know, it's a lovely, soft, protective cover. Looks gorgeous, but you can use it for other things other than an iPad mini. An A5 notebook, diary. My actual organizer I use every year is A5 in size because I like things to be of a certain size. I don't like kind of miniature booklets and miniature diaries. You can't really see what you're doing. But something like this is a perfect size just for a little 2023 diary. You know, if you're buying someone a diary for next year, that's a lovely gift, but, you know, make it special. Wrap it in something that you've actually taken the time and trouble to make with that fantastic Liberty fabric on it as well, makes it even more special. And at $15.99 is an incredible price for something that you'll have fun making and is, you know, going to be with you for years and years to come.
So I was saying to you yesterday, I'd sort of lost track of the day yesterday because normally I'm here on a Thursday.
Right.
So I, you know, can't really manage life without a notebook of reminding myself of everything to do. So I'm never without a notebook, really.
I'm exactly the same. And remember, Kerry's here with us until 8 o'clock, and then she's going to be on Sewing Street as well, our sister channel, with a little bit of Halloween, a bit of Christmas as well on Sewing Street, a bit later.
We've got pretty things, Halloween and Christmas, all wrapped up in one day.
Fabulous.
So for this, all I've done here is just double hem these and then use that lovely zigzag stitch. This is a great opportunity actually if you've got a lovely sewing machine with decorative stitches. You know, if you're making this for somebody who's got a hobby, you might find one of your decorative stitches have got those little hobby stitches on there. There we go.
Taking shape nicely.
Comes together nice and quickly, doesn't it?
I mean, to be honest, bearing in mind you've got these lovely designer fabrics, just the fabric for $15.99 I think would be a good price. But to get the whole kit, I think the price is amazing. And prices are going up all over the places, so you know, to get this sort of value is lovely and refreshing this morning on HobbyMaker. And lovely colourways too, and the patterns are gorgeous. And they do complement each other so well.
They work really well. So originally I'd chosen a different fabric to go with this, but I just love this print. And I think with the bold you know, the flowers on there, it just needs just a subtle print. So here, as I mentioned, in my notebook there, I've got one single pocket, and I think in the pattern there's one single pocket as well.
Okay.
But if you're going to pop a couple of things, so for example in there I've got a little pair of scissors and I've got the two needle packs in there, we can do this a little bit smaller.
Okay.
So just taking a fabric pen. And
So personalise it. Whatever you're going to be using it for, you may not use it for exactly what Kerry's using it for here. You can make the pockets thinner, wider, longer, whatever you want. And this is a heat erasable pen that's in the show.
Yeah, these are a heat erasable pens. So what I've done here is I've just popped a couple of lines on there. I'm going to start at the top where we've got that double hem, start and finish with a reverse stitch, and the same on each of the pockets. So sewing along to the top of the next fold, reverse stitching, and again here. And that really is, I'm sliding my projects inside and out. That's going to protect that seam on there as well.
Perfect. And remember, this is an ideal beginner's kit as well. It could be that you want to, maybe you're thinking, actually, this is perfect for not just one person in the family, but maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people. You get the fabric enough to make one of these, but then use your own fabric you've got at home to make maybe 3 or 4 or 5 more. You know, it's a really, really good price. I mean, what you pay for a pattern would be what, £7 or £8, something like that, very often. So, you know, for the cost of $15.99 to get the pattern and the fabric and the wadding as well, really good deal this morning. How much are your patterns normally?
We have a mixture of them. A lot of them are $9.99, but the smaller patterns, such as these, are $6.99.
Okay. And the patterns you can buy on their own. So that's only, what, about £9 for the fabric, and the ribbon as well included too, to fasten your holder. A really, really good deal this morning. And the patterns are available separately too.
They are, yes.
I can't imagine anyone not wanting the Liberty fabric. We don't actually have that pattern available to sell at the moment, but as a kit at $15.99, superb value. WXL 184, that's the kit there. That's what you're going to be getting. Full instructions. You actually got a QR code in there as well. Does that look?
This one doesn't have a QR code in for this one. That's probably, I've picked up a letter for the other one. So some of our patterns now, the later patterns, these are the original patterns that we started out with. And the feedback that we were getting from customers is they'd like to have a tutorial with them. So the latest ones that we've done in 2022 do come with a QR code. But of course, you've got the tutorial you can watch back here with us this morning.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for the next next session, I don't know what, I don't know what I'm doing today. Now, your heat erasable pen, once you give this a little press, which you'll naturally do with your project, that will take away any of those guidelines that you've drawn yourself. And just before we put this onto the batting, we'll do some over here as well. So for this one, I'll just do a single one over here and have a big pocket.
Okay.
Now these are, I've seen these made up actually, and they're nice for, you know, your crochet projects and things. So if you like doing projects on the go, this is a nice little project, you know, providing your patterns are sort of A5 booklet size. And you could even put your crochet hooks in here as well, tuck your pattern on there. You'll obviously need a bigger bag there to put all your yarn in. So we've got those pockets on. What I've done here, now if you enjoy quilting, if you wanted to add any quilting onto here, then the first thing to do is to pop your batting on top. So I tend to work with a 505 spray just to secure that into place if ever I'm going to do any quilting on there, because sometimes that moves around As I'm not doing any quilting on here today, I'm just going to place the batting on top. So wrong side. So this is your main exterior fabric. Batting on top, aligning all of those raw edges.
And is the batting cut to size, or do you have to trim
You
it?
need to trim those down. So all of the fabrics are slightly over what you're going to need. The recommendations there for which fabrics to use for each section are all on your templates, and then each of them will need cutting down to the actual size.
Fair enough. I bet this is going to become your new favourite thing, because it's incredibly beautiful, incredibly tactile, beautifully, visually the pattern is stunning. It really, really is. All the patterns are stunning in this. And that fabric colour, totally unisex.
It's a lovely fabric, isn't it? And I feel like I'm one ahead for Christmas now. So
Yeah,
I've got one for myself.
Is that what you give for Christmas? Handmade things very often?
Well, it depends really. I mean, we've got some family members love handmade projects, and then other family members have got lots of hobbies and things, so we tend to go for something round about that. And I think if I tried to give this my 17-year-old now, he'd be like, "Thanks, Mum." So I think he's got something different on his Christmas list.
Okay.
But I do wear, the majority of gifts that we give at Christmas are all handmade.
And I think that's so special. I don't think, have I ever been given anything handmade for Christmas? I don't think I have, actually.
You don't have handmade things for Christmas?
No. But I can imagine if I was given something that was handmade by my mother or by a friend or whoever it might be, I'd cherish it. I really would.
Well, you see, that's the extra perk about doing so many shows as well. I'm making up the samples as I go and I'm getting ahead. The problem is I file them so well when it actually comes around. I'm like, where did I put that one now? Or they've migrated to my stash.
I'm just thinking, if maybe you're planning on giving someone an iPad mini for Christmas, and you maybe have thought, well, I need to get a case for it, but they could be actually really expensive.
They are, yeah. And actually, when I designed this was on the lead up to Christmas a couple of years ago. And it really was, I named it Chase. That's because my youngest, he's going to be 11 on Sundays, always doing something on a game or his iPad, and they need it for school. So I designed it with him in mind. So although it's made in this lovely floral, I did make him one in a superhero fabric, which was...
Oh, excellent. Covers, covers that you see online for these devices, they can be 30, 40, 50 pounds. So to get the fabric you need, the Liberty fabric no less as well in there, and the wadding for $15.99, and you get the satisfaction and the enjoyment of making it, and it's a fraction of what you pay for other covers. Like that.
Absolutely.
And as you can see, it doesn't take long at all. Kerry, okay, it's Kerry's job, she's a professional, but even if you're a novice, this won't take any longer than an afternoon to rustle up if you've got a sewing machine. It doesn't have to be an all singing or dancing sewing machine either.
The only stitches that I've used on this project here today and in the tutorial is a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch.
That's it.
And if you just wanted to use a straight stitch, you could just use the straight stitch if you wanted to.
Sure.
I've always worked with a zigzag stitch. So you can see really, we've managed to sew that up quite quickly this morning, but you can take your time with this one. And I do think, it looks really special when you have got that quilting on the outside as well. So other than the binding, I'll show you what we'll do with the binding, but I won't put all of the binding on there today. And I've also managed to misplace my ribbon. Could I have your piece of ribbon just out back
I
there,
reckon.
please?
No
and
problem.
I'll show you how we pop this on.
So there's your ribbon. There we go.
Thank you very much. So for this one here, it doesn't really matter which side you're going to put this onto. I tend to always have this one overhanging. Either way, especially if you're going to put a little mini iPad in there, you're protecting this with that little double layer there.
Yeah.
Take your ribbon. So you've got 1 metre of ribbon in the kit as well.
It may be you've got a little A5 sketch pad, maybe like for doodling and that sort of thing, or tangling. That will fit in there. A diary, A5 diary would fit in there. That's my size of choice. I've got like an organiser, like a Filofax, and that's A5. And I found that really handy and really useful. It's a good size to have in your bag. You can easily see what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So it's not just for mini iPads, it's for diaries, sketchbooks, notebooks, whatever you want. Actually, yeah, that would be a really good idea. Just get a really inexpensive A5 notebook, just a ruled book. You can buy those for pennies, probably maybe even in the pound shop, those sort of places.
Yeah.
And it's a really thoughtful gift.
So all I've done here is just folded that ribbon in half, found the centre. So to find the centre, you can either measure it or fold this in half and just finger press so you're sitting your ribbon on the inside of here. And if you sew this on before you put your binding on, now if you're not a fan of binding, I really like binding. I perhaps should have shown you this before actually. There is a way to do this without that binding, and that is where we had the interfacing and the fabric. So if you don't want to bind it like mine is, because some people don't like binding, I love binding, place your batting flat onto the table, the exterior fabric, which is this lovely floral one, and then you would put this panel, so the panel with all the pockets, on top so the fabrics are patterns facing, so you see the wrong side of the fabric. Put your ribbon in exactly as we have done here, so in the centre, and just fold your ribbon in. And then as you place this together, sew all the way around the exterior, leaving about a 4-inch turning gap here. And then as you pull this through, give it a little press and a top stitch. That means you don't have to put all the binding on if you don't want to. And we mentioned, you know, if you're doing craft fairs or you want to make lots of these, or you're thinking, you know, everybody could have one of these for Christmas, and you want to speed through this a little bit faster than, you know, we have done today in the tutorial, that's a faster way than doing the binding on there.
But I must admit, I'm with you. I love the binding.
Like the binding.
The binding on this finished one here just really finishes it off. And again, you've got that contrasting fabric all the way around the outside edge, which works really well with the main Liberty print. I mean, the Liberty print is definitely the focal point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then open it up.
So if I show you these things that keep slipping out, because those pockets originally wasn't really designed, so how I've changed the size on this particular one,
Perfect, yeah.
you can see here that these will actually sit in here better, and that will stop those falling out. So just by changing, that one obviously doesn't want to stop falling out, but by changing them, you know, that secures your projects inside your panel as well.
So you've got that ability to personalise it for whatever you know you want to put in it, or what anyone else is going to put inside it as well. And if you're just waking up, it's just after 6:30, 6:36. Great to have your company on this Wednesday morning. I'm Dave Bradford. This is Kerry, and Kerry's going to be, of course, the guest on Sewing Street later as well, between 8 and 1 o'clock this afternoon. Then we're back with more this afternoon with the Caterpillar launch coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Do not miss that. That's going to be with Julie. Looking forward to that immensely. But this is all about a kind of a softer wake up to Wednesday, basically. Soft fabrics, gorgeous designer fabrics. Kerry, you've been with Sewing Street and with us at HobbyMaker now for quite a while, haven't you?
Coming up to 3 years.
3 years.
Maybe. I don't know. Since they started anyway, I think it's about that time.
And this is one of the most popular collections. We've got 3 or 4 kits in the show today, including a cosmetic bag coming up a bit later on. But this one, if you're just waking up, this is perfect for an A5 mini iPad, but also a desk book, or it could be a jotter, it could be a sketchbook, it could be a diary, an organizer, whatever you want it to be. But the kit gives you everything apart from what's inside it, obviously. You've got all the fabrics.
Apart from my to-do list.
Yes, yeah. Your to-do list will not be included. But you will get the ribbon, you get the wadding, you get the Liberty fabric as well. The other fabric designer name again?
Michael Miller.
Michael Miller. And of course, you get the all-important pattern, which you can use again and again and again with any other fabric you may have got in your collection as well. Now, the price on this is £15.99. That is a brilliant price, isn't it? All you need is a basic sewing machine. Could you do it by hand if you wanted to, if you haven't got a sewing machine? Or not really?
I probably wouldn't recommend this by hand. I mean, I say that, and I know there's lots of people who have a lot more time and patience to do things like this by hand. You could. Certainly, I'd just recommend here, instead of doing a zigzag stitch, doing a running stitch. So it is definitely possible. Just allow yourself maybe the weekend for some hand sewing.
I mean, there are different types of sewers out there, obviously. Okay, now we've actually got also, as well as having the kits in the show, we've actually got the batting available as well. Now, this is something that you always need, you always ask for handbags and all sorts of things, and garments as well, you can use this for as well. This is the batting from, of course, Bosel, so a great brand. Now, what sort of size are we talking about here?
So this one, I'll just double check on the front, is 45 by 36. So actually, if you were buying this to make little lap quilts, this is a great size for that. But if you're buying this for the little projects that we've got here, you can get plenty of those, certainly all 3 of the projects we've got for you today. Of
course, a lap quilt this time of the year is absolutely perfect timing, isn't it? £9.99, but it's not too thick, this, is it?
No, it's nice to work with. It's a nice, lightweight batting to work with. and perfect for these little projects as well.
So for quilts, lap quilts, also things like handbags and bags, clutch bags, anything like that is not too bulky to use for the smaller things, but it's also very practical to be used for the larger things too. So it's 45 inches by 36, which is basically just under a metre, 91.44 centimetres by 55.88. So it's almost like a metre by half metre, isn't it really, roughly, for $9.99. Multi-order that if you want to. Remember, with us at HobbyMaker, your postage is always capped at $3.95, and that's for the whole day. So anything you've ordered from midnight last night through until midnight tonight on HobbyMaker, all of your orders will be bundled together and you'll only be charged one postage of $3.95, no matter how many things that you buy as well. YBL116. Now we've also got what Kerry's been using quite a bit in the show. Now this is something that often gets used but very often doesn't get talked about. This is your brilliant heat or friction erasable pen. So obviously any marks you make on fabric, you want them to be easily gotten rid of. You can either use the little eraser rubber on the tip there, which will get rid of it, or if you're using an iron, heat will erase it as well for you. And this is £2.99. £2.99. And it's RYL189, that's the item number. If yours is running out or you've never really used one or you want to stock up on it, this is going to be the best thing, it really is. Fabric pen in black. 0800 001 4433 is a free phone number, by the way, which gets you through to our call centre above our heads in this building. It's a UK-based call centre. They will process your order. And this could be the only thing and the first thing that you've ever bought. That's absolutely fine. RYL189, your item number. Now, we've got more demos to come from Kerry. That was the A5 mini iPad cover or an A5 book cover. If you want anything else, check the website. You'll see it there at hobbymaker.co.uk. We've got the cosmetic bag, though, coming up in just a second. All of these bestsellers from Kerry. Don't go anywhere, back after a couple of secs.
Hi, I'm Julie. Join me on HobbyMaker this Wednesday for the launch of the Caterpillar. With a self-sharpening blade, it will slide through all your products with ease. We will also be launching the Caterpillar Crop and the Caterpillar Crease. So join me this Wednesday on HobbyMaker for the launch of the Caterpillar Pro Crease and Crop.
If you want to search our website for your favourite brands, simply go to hobbymaker.co.uk, click on brands, and you'll find all your favourite items all in one place. Shopping made simple with HobbyMaker.
Hi guys, Sandra's not in the office today, so I thought I'd give you a sneaky peek of what's on HobbyMaker on Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon. We've got the Dragonfly, love this one. Spanish fans are back on, and probably shouldn't be showing you this, new stamps and a new frame. I hadn't better show you anything else. See you Thursday and Friday, bye!
Yes, lots to look forward to over the next few days here at HobbyMaker, including Crafty Witches making their debut in a couple of days' time. Looking forward to that. Do not miss that, whatever you do. Lots of surprises in store. And, of course, Santangle tomorrow for 3 shows as well. And the Caterpillar launch today at 3 o'clock with Julie. She works in our office upstairs. She's lovely. You'll love her. And the brilliant brand of Caterpillar, the only cutting machine and trimmer you will ever need to buy. It's going to be a good one this afternoon, 3 o'clock. Now, Kerry's with me. We're waking up to HobbyMaker on this Wednesday morning. Now, this bag, although we're calling it a cosmetic bag, to be honest, a bag's a bag. It could be for anything, couldn't it? Yeah. Absolutely anything. Now, this is a really practical bag that you could put all sorts in. Loads of toiletries. If you've got some kind of tall shampoos or hairsprays or deodorants or whatever that you struggle to fit in a conventional size of bag, these will be a perfect size, I'm sure. But also, it could be a crafty bag. You know, if you want to take your pens, if you want to take your paintbrushes, your inks and that sort of thing with you, maybe for a weekend vacation or whatever you want to do. Now, this is another great price. $14.99 for everything that you need to make this, including the batting. Tell us about the fabric here that you've used, Kerry.
So again, this is Liberty. So all of the projects we've bought today are from the same range as Liberty, excluding the Michael Miller fabric, of course. And I just wanted them, I quite like seeing things coordinate, really. So yes. They're a nice bundle of fabrics. But again, these are Liberty fabrics. And then on the lining of your bag, you've got 100% cotton in there as well.
This is lovely, really luxurious. Again, rather than buying something off the shelf, a bag that's off the shelf that thousands of other people will have, this is something that is bespoke. You choose where you put your panels, what color combination you use, in what order. So it's a bespoke bag. The whole thing, the whole kit, here is how it comes. £14.99 is your price. And literally, from the minute that you open it, everything that you've got inside here is everything you need apart from the thread and your sewing machine. You've got the pattern, which again means that once you've used it once and used up the fabric, you've got all the patterns here in written form, but also, of course, all the patterns in sketched form are in there too. So you can use that again and again and again. And as you can see, it's really well illustrated. So it's not just a case of the written word. I'm rubbish at reading instructions.
Oh no, I like photos.
I like pictures.
I'm a photo book
Yeah,
person.
me, I am as well.
Which is why we spend so much time photographing each stage as we go through. This particular project that we've got as well, we did do this as a sew-along a little while ago. So if you want some help with that and want to watch a tutorial, if you visit our blog and just click on the Yasmine Cosmetic Bag, it takes you through to a full pre-recorded tutorial for that. That's the way we used to do them. Now we put the QR code in.
Okay, cool. And also do bear in mind, of course, this is basically it's a tutorial free on air today. So if you've got recording facilities at home, just record the show. If you're watching this back or you want to watch it back a bit later on, maybe you're running around like a headless chicken at the moment and 6:45 in the morning, got the kids to sort out, got other things to do. You can watch this back at a more convenient time later this afternoon, later this evening, even tomorrow, the next day or whenever. And you can actually, if your kit arrives in the next few days, which it will do, you can watch this show back. I think it's up to about a week after it's gone out. So you can actually kind of get the kit, open it up and watch the show back with Kerry and actually do it in real time.
Yes, absolutely. So along with us,
Yeah.
share the photos with us. We like to see those in the fans group. And then obviously you've got your competition that you can enter as well.
Share your makes. Yeah, and when we say share your makes, I think an awful lot of people think, oh, card making, that's it. No, it could be anything that you've made. It could be a necklace, earrings that you've made. It could be a cosmetic bag you've made. It could be a sock that you've crocheted. You know, anything at all. Share your makes with us. We do it every day of the week. 7 days a week, any time of day or night, you can send it and submit it. studio@hobbymaker.co.uk. And then once a month on a Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, we give someone the lucky news that they've had a £100 credit put on their account. And that will be on the 29th of October, Saturday the 29th. So get your makes in now. It could be you that wins in a couple of weeks' time. Right, Kerry, what are we doing first then?
So I'll show you how to put this together. Again, we've put all of the pieces, so I've cut all of these down, kept the templates with them again because we're working with a darker fabric, but you can see here that your pens will write onto there. A good way to do this as well, if you are following the recommendation in the front, is to just write them on the back. So I've mentioned writing down the letters because that's how I refer to each piece.
So all the pockets have got a different letter?
Every single piece in each of our patterns have a different letter. So what we'll do is we'll just place this out in the order that we're working with. So you can see here actually, as you mentioned, you can make this up however you want to make it up. You get the same amount of fabric in each 3 of these fabrics, so you can, make this differently like I'm going to do for you here today.
Is it tricky working out which colour you want where?
That's definitely the hardest thing. So one of the things that we're quite known for is how many different kits we have, how many different options we normally bring along, and that's because I can never decide which is my favourite fabric. So, when you get the fabric home, spend some time, have a little bit of a play. I mean, these two, it really is that main one. What I try and do whenever I'm working with a project is have a look which fabrics showcase the most in that project. So for me, it's this centre pocket here, really.
That's the main focal point.
And that's what my eye is drawn to, and that's the one that I tend to put my favourite fabric in. But they're all just beautiful, aren't they?
I love that colour because
Isn't it
it's not a green, it's not a yellow, it's like a mustard, isn't it?
I absolutely love this colour, and that really was the reason that we went and we bought in the whole range, just because I particularly like this one.
Is it chartreuse? Is that what it's called?
The colour? Oh, I'm not very good with colours, and I know it's Emily Bell Design Liberty.
Oh, okay, right. That one there.
So what colour?
Ochre? Someone saying ochre? Yeah, Michael, our director, saying ochre.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Yeah. So again, like all of the pockets in all of my projects, we've got a little bit of binding in here. So we'll go ahead and we'll do both of those. So as you can see on the cosmetic bag, both, it has a pocket on both sides there.
Yes.
So this really was designed when I did this one. So this one was designed for my niece Yasmine. So when I made the first 6 projects we ever produced, I named them after my 6. I've got lots of nieces, but my one sister's children.
I mean, that's a great spelling of the name as well. You think Yasmine would be Jasmine, but it's Yassameen. Love that.
Yeah, I didn't love it when, you know, all of the girls' names are, you know, she has Sophia as well, and that's 12 letters, and I'm making personalised bunting. So when she had a 6th baby, I was like, can we have a Mia? Please, can we have a Mia?
Or a Kim.
That would be great. She's like, why do you want Mia? I said, everything I do is personalised, and it would make my life so much easier. You know, 5 pennants, I'll have a plain one either side. So again, on the pockets, we just pop in that binding the same way as I did in the Chase book cover there. And we're just going to sew across that raw edge using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we'll press and zigzag stitch the binding again.
Okay.
So when I designed this one, my niece loves wearing lots of vibrant eyeshadows.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the size of the bag, and that really was to allow for those larger palettes of makeup. You know, sometimes you can get little ones, so a little cosmetic bag will work perfectly for those. But when she has all the, you know, those big bold colours, they tend to come in a bigger eye palette. So that's what I really like about this, and that's why I think this one's probably one of our most popular ones, because you've got the space in there.
But I love the idea of having that outside pocket as well. I mean, for example, if you've got like an electric toothbrush or something like that, that wouldn't necessarily fit in there, but it could fit in there. Okay, it will stick up, but I mean, it's a really practical idea to have those little pockets on the outside.
Well, it's quite nice, isn't it? I mean, if you wanted, you know, your lipstick easily accessible in your handbag, then that's really why that pocket's there. But it's nice to have a large size, isn't it? I mean, we have made smaller ones, but...
I mean, you could easily pay $14.99 for a much smaller bag than this. And although we're calling it a cosmetic bag, it's a bag. What you use it for is entirely up to you.
I've got one, it's got my threads and my pens.
Why not? Yeah. Whatever you need to get organised, to carry around with you, weekends away, that sort of thing. I mean, I'm constantly on the road. I mean, yesterday I was in Peterborough, the day before I was at home in the New Forest, today I'm here near Birmingham. So, you know, I'm constantly moving from place to place, and I'm sure probably you are as well, with work or seeing friends or family. Something like this is going to help. I mean, if you're like me, I always leave things in places by mistake. Like I got to where I was yesterday, and I'd left my hair gel at home, so I had to go out and buy some hair gel. Keep everything with you. Keep it all in one place in a bag so you're organised. You're never going to have that issue then, are you?
You say that, but I have a lot of bags.
You should see the boot of my car.
Oh gosh, I know.
But half a dozen bags.
Actually, it's really funny. My dad's very, you know, he's not a carpenter by trade, but he took it up in lockdown, and he's very methodical, and every tool has got a section in his shed. You know, everything's got a place, it's drawn around, and it's all in the same place. And he cleaned my mum's car a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I've never seen anything like it. He said it's like, I've forgotten what he called it. He said it's like going to the tip. I was like, Mum's car's always organised. He said, guess how many pens? She's got an obsession with buying pens. Everywhere we go, she buys a pen. And my mum's car is really tidy, so I don't know how she managed to hide so many in her footwells and in the backs of seats. 45 pens he put. 45 pens.
45?
Like, how have you got that? I struggle to find one pen every day.
Yeah, me too.
How have you got 45 pens? We went out for the day, and we were like in a shop, and there was one with a little giraffe, and she's like, I need a new pen. We were like, are you serious? we just took 45 it. 45? I was like, can I just have some of your stash, please?
We need, you know who to ask if you need one.
I was like, all these things we make, the accessory rolls, every little slot, that's where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Right, so what I've done is I've put the binding on there. It looks great, actually, with that gorgeous Emily Bell on there. Really makes it pop. So what we're going to do then is place that pocket on top, then take the next piece of fabric on top. So we're then going to sew along this raw edge. Now, for little pieces like this, I actually normally wouldn't pin, but what you can often find with a piece of binding in there, just as you go over the thickness of the fabric there, is it can move that fabric and you end up missing it. So just take an extra moment and pin that together. And we'll do that on the opposite side, and we can sew those together then. In particular, just pinning that binding.
I don't know what it is about Liberty fabric. It's the feel of it, the look of it, everything about it, the way that it kind of behaves, if that's the right word to use.
It definitely is. You are
sometimes
right.
you see printed fabric and you touch it and it's very coarse. It's almost brittle. You think it's going to kind of crack. With Liberty fabric, you never have that issue. And it's only a small thing, but it makes a massive difference when you feel it. You can tell the quality is there. And if you've ever been to Liberty's in London, you'll know it's an experience. I mean, it's like walking through time, going back in time. It really, really is. Like the old traditional way of luxury shopping is very much alive and well there. And that's what the Liberty fabric's all about, a kind of a bygone era of luxury and quality.
It is definitely. And you know, I try and talk myself into not always using Liberty, but I think little projects like this, they're little bits of fabric really. They're almost remnants of fabric, so they're nice to put into the projects, and as you say, they're lovely to sew with, especially when, you know, the cosmetic bag features that zip installation, so anything that makes that journey enjoyable, definitely.
And, you know, really, when you talk about Liberty fabric, you expect to pay a premium. I would expect to pay probably nearly double this sort of price to have Liberty fabric in a kit like this. But for $14.99, including the wadding as well, you know, rather than having to buy in bulk and then cut it down and then maybe have things sat to one side or whatever, you've got here everything you need, oversized, so just trim it, for $14.99, and it's YIL197. YIL197. Now, we've actually got something that you always bring us that everybody loves to bits. We've actually got a pack of zips in the show as well, haven't we? How many did we get? Is it 10?
5 in those. So these are packs of 5, and the colours will vary in the selection that you get. And you're getting 5 in there.
And size-wise, they are?
These ones are 10 inches. So these.
And your 10 was in there somewhere.
Yeah.
10 inches long, right? 5 of them for 10 inches. $3.99. $3.99. Colours will vary, but you'll get a lovely selection. So that is working out to about 80p a zip.
That's it. And this is the size that we're using in the Yasmine Cosmetic Bag. So if you're making these and you want to make several of these, this is the perfect size zip for those ones. And of course, if you want to use you know, if your project requires an 8-inch zip or a 7-inch zip, you can trim these down because they're nylon zips as well. So it's not just the 10-inch. You know, if you're making a smaller project and you want to top up your stash, then this is a nice stash builder.
Well, remember, we always at HobbyMaker cap our postage at $3.95 for the whole day. So, you know, if you're paying like $2.99 per order for some things elsewhere, you might think twice about buying $3.99's worth of zips and then paying $2.99 postage. But remember, $3.95 is all you pay for the postage all day long. So when these odd little things come along, little accessories like the heat erasable pen or the wadding or ribbon that we've got in the show or these zips, even if you've already made a couple of orders today, you won't pay any more than that $3.95 maximum for your entire order today up till midnight tonight. NQL136, 5 of them, 10 inches long. They are trimmable, like Kerry said. Colours will vary, but that's always a bestseller from Kerry. So if you want those, NQL136, your item number. Right. Back
That's
to
a
the
very
demo.
good word, trimmable. I like that word.
Trimmable. Yeah.
They are trimmable. I shall use that next time I talk about it.
You can have that.
That's going to be my word of the day today. But they're really useful to have in your stash. I mean, a lot of the projects I design have 10 or 8-inch zips, so.
And the one that you get in the kit is a white zip? Yeah.
It's a white zip that comes in the kit, yeah.
It's quite nice sometimes to actually have a zip that stands out.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, in days gone by, you used to kind of camouflage.
To be
and cover
honest,
them up.
I'd probably, if I was making it for me, I'd be putting the fuchsia pink in there because I'm like you, I like them to pop.
Yeah.
And I love pink as well. So, you know, if you've got the pack of zips and you've got the kit, you can always swap those over.
Are we demoing the zip in the show?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Because I know lots of people. Some people can be a bit scared of putting in zips, but don't be scared. Everything is, remember, in the pattern, pictured for you step by step. And you're using mainly a straight stitch on this?
Just a straight stitch, yeah. I'm saying we're demoing the zip. I'm just going to have a little look, see if there's a zipper foot in there, but we'll demo it either way.
Okay.
So for this one, all we're going to do now is to just press those seams. You can do that by just pressing from the front. So just giving that a little press. And then we'll pop the other side on as well. It's great that you can demo all these kits in just literally one show in a couple of hours. They're nice. This is really why we chose these kits for this show, because it's nice, you know, the time that we've got to play. There's plenty of time there to make up some nice little samples and show you just how easy they are. And of course, if you're making these regularly, you know, you've got a bit of a production line going on, you want to make them. For me to be, well, I've got, I think, quite a lot more nieces. So, you know, if you wanted them all to coordinate, you can speed through these together.
Well, I mean, think about it. You know, you've got all the fabric you need, the wadding you need, the pattern that is, of course, reusable again and again and again. So for an outlay of $14.99, you could be making dozens and dozens of these in lots of different colours. One could be a man bag, one could be a cosmetic bag, one could be a craft bag. You've got these little pockets, remember, on the outside, which I love. So for things that are maybe oversized or long or whatever, you can pop those in there, or a lipstick or anything like that. Things you need easy access to. But it's a lovely thing. And yeah, you could sell these probably for, I don't know, probably 20 quid each.
Yeah, easily. And I mean, I've got a daughter who obviously loves all the floral-y stuff. She loves Liberty, of course. But for my youngest, Chase, he's got this pencil case for school, and they use Pritt Stick quite a lot to stick their things into their learning journeys.
Yep.
So he keeps his, because he's a bit forgetful, you know, every time he comes out of school I've got to remind him to go and get something. So the fact that it's got that pocket is great, just to put his Pritt Stick in the front so he's not losing it, and it's easily accessible even when he's in class and needs to just get his hands on it instead of emptying the pencil case and getting distracted.
I mean, it could be that you're an artist or you're a tangler, you've got lots of pens, erasers, pencils, that sort of thing. You've literally got 3 compartments. The big well in the middle is huge, really is, and then 2 outside pockets as well for the smaller things. In these colourways, which I think are lovely. We're kind of on the we're calling it ochre. Someone said ochre. Mike, our director, said ochre. It could be chartreuse. It could be almost like a mustard gold. Love it, absolutely love it.
I feel like I should have done a bit more homework on that colour.
It's just lovely. What
It's
called doesn't
pretty.
really matter. Yeah, it's pretty.
It's like when somebody says, "What colour do you have?" It's black. No idea. It's just pretty fabric. I know it's Liberty.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, for me it is anyway.
And tell us again what you've got coming up on Sewing Street later.
So at 9 o'clock, we've got a pumpkin ball, a launch of a pumpkin ball.
Oh, cool.
We've got a Halloween wreath, and we've also got some bunting as well. And we've today, with it being a little bit chillier, we've got some panels for hot water bottles and eye masks.
Nice.
And then our later hour, we're back to Christmas. So cushion, a table runner, and a large gift wrap bag as well.
Right, fantastic.
So a variety of projects today.
Eye masks. That lit my eyes up, because I can't sleep without an eye mask.
My daughter won't go to bed without an eye mask. I think it's so, when I go in and tell her to do something, I can't see her eye rolling at me, to be honest. I think that's her reason. She's a 16-year-old and does a lot of twitting at me and eye rolling, so I think that's why she loves the eye masks. Yours might be to help you sleep.
Yeah. When you do shift work, believe me,
If ever she's watching, I'm going to be in trouble when I get home, telling her secrets. She'll give me the roll and go, "No, I don't."
I think because I never know where I'm going to be. This sounds awful. Never know where I'm going to be sleeping. You know, staying in hotels.
Your life sounds far more exciting. I always know where I'm going to be.
But you know, you never know whether it's going to have blackout curtains or blackout blinds. You've got shift work, that sort of thing. So I always wear an eye mask.
I will have you a little pretty one made up by the end of today for your stash then. So we've now made the panels up. We've got your pockets on the front. And what we're going to do is to just pop this onto the batting. Now, because I'm going to do just a little bit of quilting on here.
Yep.
I love working with batting, but it tidies up as we go along. Look, it picks up all the...
It does, doesn't it?
All the fabric.
Like a magnet.
There we go. So just a tiny little bit on there. Centre that fabric. And again, all I'm going to do is each of those seams just sew a little zigzag stitch down. You don't have to do that. It really is decorative.
But it's like the finishing touch, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I've got
the extra effort.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, if you were making these to sell, you might want to skip that step because they look beautiful with or without that quilting. So on my sample one, I've used a navy thread on there. but I'm using a white on here, so it's a nice opportunity to use the threads in your stash, you know, and showcase those colours.
Yeah.
So I said for mine, I'd probably go for a pink zip. You could even use that lovely pink on there as well.
Yes, whether you want the stitching to be a feature of the bag or whether it to be, you know, kind of almost invisible, it's up to you.
So again, I'm just using the centre of that sewing machine foot, allowing that to run along that seam line there, and just turning around each time and just zigzag stitching along each of those seams. And just trimming that thread as we get to the end.
I mean, I'm no sewer, but this to me seems incredibly simple. So if you are a beginner and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to kind of embark on a quilt yet, I'm not at that stage, I don't want anything too daunting.
This is a really nice project. One of the things I find, I've been teaching classes for years, and one of the things I find as adults, we tend to hold back on ourselves. So you say put a zip in to an adult and they're like, oh, I'll do it on my next project.
Yeah.
I've got a lady, Helen, who's sewn with me for probably the last 8 years. And she only did a zip last week. She has put them off.
The first time?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think she did one, and she didn't enjoy doing it when she initially started and said she'd never do a zip.
Off. Yeah.
And it was actually the Yasmine Cosmetic Bag that she made.
Okay.
She popped it in there. Whereas children, you say, do this, and they're just, you know, straight in there doing this. So this is a lovely project, adult or children really. It's nice, easy zip installation. There's no tabs on there.
So maybe you're watching this and you're thinking about your granddaughter, your niece, your son, because I mean, you know, let's face it, lots of guys are into sewing as well. It's not just a lady thing anymore, not at all.
My youngest son loves sewing, but he's got an old Jones machine, so he likes using that. I think it's the novelty and just, you know, watching what it does. But he absolutely loves it. He doesn't like the electrical machines, you know.
He'll probably be on the repair shop in years to come.
Yeah,
as
he's
an
very
expert.
creative, yeah. Yeah, I love watching the repair shop. It's amazing, really, isn't it?
Incredible.
You know, just to see what people do. Gives you ideas. The problem is I start looking around my junk and I think, oh, what can I rescue? And I'm a whole weekend later, I've not finished it and it looks nothing like it's supposed to look, and I've made a mess. So I'm just going to trim away that extra batting.
If you just switched it on, by the way, Kerry's our guest until 8 o'clock today. Then she's over on Sewing Street for a few shows later on between 8 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Then we're back this afternoon. We've got a very exciting launch this afternoon. I mean, I've been a fan of the Caterpillar cutting machines, trimmers, for years. 3 o'clock this afternoon, it arrives here at HobbyMaker. The brand new home of Caterpillar, the only trimmer you'll ever need. Julie, who's a crafter who works with us here in the office, is a massive fan, and she's going to be our guest, but you will absolutely adore it. 3 o'clock this afternoon, all the range coming up, including, of course, the scoring tool as well as the trimmers. So watch that this afternoon if you can, 3 o'clock on HobbyMaker, not to be missed.
It's a very exciting day.
Yeah, it is.
Planned, isn't it?
I knew it was coming, but didn't know it was today until I came in. So, yeah, fantastic.
Oh, brilliant. So we've got our 2 exterior panels. We've then got the zip as well. So we've got the 10-inch zip. My panels are a little bit too big, so I'll just trim those down.
Okay.
Now, with zip installation, you can use pins. Or you can use, I quite like using quilter's wash away tape, or today I'm going to show you how to use the sew line glue pen. So to make it super easy, if you use the sew line glue pen or the quilter's wash away tape, it means you haven't got to stop and remove any of the pins as you're sewing along.
Okay, good.
So what we'll do first of all is take the zip, run a strip of glue along the top there, and place that,
And that glue pen, that will be on Sewing Street's website?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah, good.
And we're going to centre that zip on the top there. Take the lining. So once that's centred, we're then going to take the glue and run a second line along there. In fact, I'm just going to move that across a little bit. My ends on the end of my zip are a little bit too long, as you can see there. So the ones in your kit will be the same. You can just trim that down, but you don't need to trim that down just yet.
Okay.
So we've put that second line of glue on here. Make sure your zipper opens actually first of all before you glue it like I've just done. I've already checked mine though before the show today.
Right.
Leave your zipper halfway open, and then we're placing the lining on top. And just finger press along there and to secure that into place. Now, I've just had a quick look inside the sewing machine, and there isn't a zipper foot inside the sewing machine for me to use. So I'm going to show you how to insert your zip just using your standard foot on your sewing machine. If you've got a zipper foot, use a zipper foot. And in the step-by-step instructions, it shows you how to position your needle as well.
Okay, but if you haven't got a zipper foot, this is how to do it. So
now I always slide a pin through. You can see through that fabric there. But I always slide a pin through 2 finger spaces ahead of that zip. So when I'm sewing along, I'm going to stop at that needle point, at that pin point, remove the pin, and then close the zipper.
right.
And then we can sew straight to the end.
Okay.
So if you do this in 2 stages.
So what is it that people find daunting about a zip then? Don't they do that, what you've just shown us? They don't?
I find that this really helps. So those 2 things, having the pin in there, stopping, you know, an inch above your zip, and then continue in the straight line. What can often happen when people are using the zipper foot, and certainly for the first time, is they sew too close to the zipper.
Right.
And so it makes it a little bit difficult to close the zip off. Or the other thing is they'll try and go around it, and then you have a bit of a wiggly line around your zip.
Right.
So those little tips, and using either the quilter's wash away tape or the sew line glue pen will make the world of difference. So I'm arriving at that needle.
Yep.
I'm just going to move the pin, leaving the needle inserted, feeling between the layers, and then closing that zip. So you'll need to wiggle it around a little bit just to get under there. You need to raise the foot if necessary, and close that zipper. Let's just reposition that. Now, if you're using pins as well, you've got to stop and take the pins out. So again, that can give you a bit of a wiggly line on a zip. Whereas if you're using the glue pen or the wash away tape, you can just continue in one continuous line.
Fantastic.
So I'm just using the standard foot on the sewing machine. All we're going to do there is to just press that fabric away from the zip and bring this back and just give that a little press on top. And now we're going to top stitch. Now, whenever I top stitch, it doesn't really matter what I'm top stitching, but certainly when I'm doing a zip, I'll increase the stitch length. So I'm going to increase the stitch length to the longest stitch, which is 5 on this machine. I can see where the zipper is, but if you're doing this for the first time, take a pin that you're going to really see that colour. Let's open this up a bit more so I can get further across. And this is just a reminder that that's where we're stopping.
Okay. So the message is, don't let zips daunt you. Don't let them put you off. They don't have to be tricky if you follow Kerry's tips.
So again, I'm at that needle. Raise the presser foot and close the zip. And then we're sewing along to the edge. It really only is a straight line, but it's the steps that you take to make it as easy as possible. And there's tools and notions out there, like the ones I'm using today, that certainly make that much easier. So we've got one section popped in, and then we're going to pop in the second section. So to do this, the best thing to do is to just have these on opposite sides, so you can see that's definitely going on the opposite side of the zip, and so therefore we're going to run the glue along that zipper again, open this up, and then fold this across.
And repeat.
There we go. Just to make life a bit easier for myself, I'm going to trim that little bit of zip away. There we go. And that's making it easy. We've still got the metal tags on there, so that's not going to make much difference.
And if you actually wanted to make that zipper less than 10 inches, or 10 centimetres, sorry.
So if we were doing, in fact, let me show you that now. So if you were doing this, and this was a smaller project, just pretend this bit's not there. There we go. So if we were working with an 8-inch zip, I would still leave this overhanging.
Right.
And I'd sew the zip as I naturally would. Keep sewing across here. Slow this down and hand crank on your machine, and then cut your zipper off.
But if you've cut the metal bar off at the end, is that an issue or not?
It's not an issue. So if you do get ahead of yourself and you do quick, because we jump into projects, just before you start doing any opening and closing of your zips, pop this onto the sewing machine and just tack across there.
Okay.
That will stop that coming.
That acts like a buffer.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's very easy to go, oh, I've put my zip in, pull it off, and it slides off the end. It is possible to put your zipper back on.
But not easy.
it's a bit of a faff.
Yes.
It's definitely a bit of a faff. Okay, so the zipper's on, I've got the glue on the opposite side. We're then going to place the fabric on top again, just running your fingers across to secure that. Now we've got extra layers to sew through, so this really is where this pin helps. So 2 finger spaces ahead of your zip, pin this in, we're sewing to the pin again, opening the zip out of the way and sewing onto the end.
Cool. Now, loads of you are coming through for this right now. The Yasmine Cosmetic Bag, and remember, it's the luxury of Liberty fabric. What you use this bag for is absolutely, you know, it's a bag that can use for anything. It's not just cosmetics. It can be crafting. It could be all sorts of things. Anything you need to kind of keep together, to get organised, weekends away. And sometimes cosmetic bags are frustratingly small. They can be very, very shallow. You can't get big items in there. I mean, if you think about, you know, the size of hairsprays, the size of aerosol deodorants, anything like that, they can be quite big and bulky. So it's nice to have something that's got a bit of height to it, as well as a lovely depth, and it's got a lovely width as well. There's a massive amount of space in there with those really lovely practical outside pockets on the left and the right hand side too. But it's a lovely thing. It's a thing of beauty. That in the bathroom, on the bedside cabinet, is a lovely thing to look at. And Liberty fabric has got a lovely look, obviously, with the pattern, but more importantly, the quality and the feel of it is stunning. And for $14.99, with the pattern that you can reuse again and again and again with other fabrics you've got in your stash, it's YIL197 if you'd like it. And it doesn't take long at all to put together. You've even got the wadding in there. Lots of kits like this don't come with wadding. Yours does.
So yeah, it's got your wadding and all of your fabrics in here. So what I've done on the back here is I find it easy if I just press this fabric, making sure it's not coming into contact with the zip. Again, I've then opened the zip halfway, two finger spaces, still pop that pin in there to remind me, and I'm sewing to the pin, opening the zip and sewing along the top to finish that section off.
Are you revisiting sewing? Have you maybe not done sewing for a long, long time? And you're thinking, oh, this is the sort of kit that I could, you know, kind of dip my toe back in and try it. If you're a beginner and starter, there are lots of sewing projects out there that are really advanced and can be quite daunting for most people. This isn't. This is a very easy kind of pick it up, put it down, couple of hour project in the afternoon.
Absolutely. You've done it. I feel like I'm closer to Christmas myself. I've got a couple of projects this morning. I've got a bit of binding to finish on the other one. Now, there is actually 2 ways you can make this. So mine has the depth there. You've got the space by box in the bottom of the project. Now, we talked about if you wanted this as a large pencil case, perhaps you want it for all of your pens. You could just sew this together as it is. I'll show you that in a second, sorry. And then you've got a nice flat deep pencil case. That would be the perfect one really if you're using this for pens and pencils.
Sure, yeah.
Unless you wanted it to stand proud on the desk, then we'll box the corners. So if that's what you want, then you just simply opening this out, aligning your lining fabric with your lining fabric, which is the white there in your kit, and then your fabrics here. Now you've got your different seams, so what I tend to do at this section is to just roll these out, make sure they're marrying up at the bottom there. And this gives you a nice finish and those lovely contours around those seams in a little while as we sew this together.
Perfect. You're watching Wake Up with HobbyMaker. Kerry's our guest and normally seen on Sewing Street, and she will be on Sewing Street later today between 8 o'clock and 1 o'clock this afternoon with Halloween and Christmas. This show, though, are some of your all-time bestsellers, aren't they?
They are. We thought I haven't made these for a while, actually. So
Haven't you?
No, so it's nice. Yeah, so it's lovely really to be making these again. I mean, I've got lots of these made up, but
these are kind of timeless.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's going to need a cosmetic bag or a craft bag or whatever it may be. Everyone needs them, and so for this sort of price, plus the pattern, which you can reuse again and again and again, it's a great buy today.
So this particular pattern sells at $9.99, so you can see the value that you've got.
So you've got Liberty fabric for £5, and the wadding and the zip for £5. That's amazing value.
So if you wanted to keep it a nice flat pencil case or cosmetic bag like we've just spoken about, you'd do the same thing here. So a 4-inch turning gap here on the bottom. Again, just using that fabric pen, and you'd start with a reverse stitch, sew around all 4 sides and finish with a reverse stitch. As we want to box the corners on there, we're just simply going to take a ruler and make a little square So
How far in?
So, oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself there. So 1.5 inches in.
Okay.
So 1.5 inches in, we'll just draw that into position on both sides. And if I just do that, we'll cut that out in a moment. So I'll repeat that on all 4 sides, the batting and the lining fabric. So again, 1.5 inches in.
And this is the heat erasable pen that we've got in the show, and that, remember, is available for you to buy completely separately. Cap P&P of $3.95. That's what I love about HobbyMaker, is that when you realise you've run out of, I don't know, foam pads or glue or whatever, all those everyday must-have accessories, or an erasable pen like this, if you've already made an order today, the rest of your orders you make, you won't pay any more P&P. So $3.95 capped.
So all I've done is just put the corners. You can draw the whole square in there if you want to, but we're just simply going to cut this section out. And this is going to give us that nice boxed corner.
And that means the bag stands up on its own?
That's it. Gives it that nice stability there. Now, when we come to push these seams together in just a moment, we don't want these coming open, especially on the batting. You can often find they come open on the batting. So to do this method, we'll be reverse stitching here on the pen mark, and then we'll reverse stitch here at the corner, but we're not sewing this section here.
Okay.
Okay,
Right. Yep.
same on all 4 corners.
Right.
Okay.
I'm learning quite a lot this morning. It's great.
We've got lots of different techniques in the projects today, actually.
Yeah, we have. And we've got another project to come as well. Still to come, we've got the book cover on the way in a second as well. We've already done the A5 iPad mini cover, but I mean, that can also be for books as well. But if you've missed any of the earlier demonstrations from 6 o'clock this morning, don't worry, we'll recap everything before we say cheerio at 8 o'clock this morning.
So if you're putting a zip in for the first time, where can often make you worry a little bit is the thickness or the bulk that we're working with there. So if you're concerned about sewing and your needle breaking, you can sew across that nylon zip and you can sew across the layers. But if you're concerned, just turn the side of your machine, hand crank that across. If it's going to come into contact with anything, you'll feel it.
Right.
But your nylon zips, you can sew through those.
Okay, good.
But I know certainly if people are putting a zip in for the first time, that's the section that worries people a little bit.
To do it by hand, just turn the crank.
Do it by hand, yeah, build your confidence up, and then when you're making your next ones, you'll be raring to go. So I'm just teasing that little bit of thread out on the corner. We're not sewing across there. Starting with a reverse stitch, sewing all the way across, and on each section that we've cut out, we're going to do a reverse stitch as well.
Thank you for tuning in to HobbyMaker, by the way. We start our weekdays Monday through Friday every morning at 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock with HobbyMaker. I can't think of a better way to start your morning, really, with a bit of craft.
I've had a lovely morning
Yes,
today.
brilliant.
There was no traffic on the road today, pretty much. The last time I came, it was very busy, but there was no traffic, and I got up a lot earlier than I normally get, so I've had a nice, relaxing
I think it's the best time
morning.
of day. People say to me sometimes, how'd you get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning? I love it. I'd rather get up, go to work. Absolutely.
I always think, how do you do it every day, to be honest, but I do enjoy it on the one day every other week that I do it. I don't get up this early usually.
I always feel I get more done in a day when I get
Oh
up
yeah,
early.
definitely. I have to say, today is a busy day for me. I've got a class later this evening.
Oh, crikey.
And I do feel like I'll do more today because you've had a good kickstart to the morning. So pinching these together now, so just feeding your fingers through, finding that fabric on the inside. And to get a nice finish onto the corner, we're going to press one seam to the left, one to the right. In fact, I'll use a few clips on here rather than the pins. And those seams will nest together and you'll get a nice finish.
Lovely.
So we'll repeat that on all 4 sides. Just a little pin in there, or a clip. I find it easier with the clips. It's actually easier to pull it open when it's got the batting in there, I find as well. But on your lining, again, one seam to the left, one to the right, clip into position. And then what we're going to do, pop these onto the sewing machine, and we're going to sew across those sides there. So starting and finishing with a reverse stitch on all 4 sides there.
And so those little tips that you just talked about putting the, you know, sandwiching it beautifully, so you get a perfectly flat join.
And it really does make the world a difference.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I find if I'm making things for myself, you know, I mean, it's a habit, isn't it? So, you know, you try and convince yourself you're not going to do it, but once you've built up that habit. But certainly if you're making these for gifts, for people, you want a nice finish on there, special finish on there, and certainly if you sell it, you know, you're making these to sell, you want that nice professional finish, and all of these little things help. So starting and finishing with a reverse stitch. Now, other than sewing the seam, so we're going to turn this the right way out, so just poking our fingers through. Our zip is halfway open.
Now, how big's the opening?
The opening's 4 inches.
4 inches, okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
So pushing these all the way to the furthest corner, pushing this through that turning gap. That 4-inch turning gap allows for plenty of space to pull that project through and the batting without putting any pressure on your seams. Now, especially if I'm making, if it was for me, I'd probably leave that open because I generally tend to not get around to doing that little section. But if you're doing it for gifts, and what I recommend in the pattern is just to slip stitch this closed. You can do it on the machine, but again, it's nice to have that nice professional finish, isn't it? And as we push these corners out, that is your Yasmine Cosmetic Bag.
Terry, that's great.
Complete.
Isn't that lovely? And you've done that in about 40 minutes? And that's with, you know, talking, demonstrating. That's pretty cool. Perfect. Now, if you've ever got questions, remember the easiest way is to send a message via our website, which is what Carol's done. Carol's in the West Midlands. Hi, Carol. She says, morning, love all the projects. Kerry, can you clarify where you push the zip when sewing together?
So when you're sewing the zip, always push your zip towards the lining. And naturally, what you'll find when you open that section up, it naturally pulls towards the lining anyway. If you push it in the opposite way, then your zip ends up tucked in. So push it towards your lining, and that steps on the pattern as well, because that's super important.
Perfect. Thank you for the question, Carol. Hopefully that's answered it for you. Now, if you want this kit, this is it. This is how it comes, beautifully presented. I mean, everything about it is all about ease of use. Now, the pattern is normally $9.99 on its own. So today, you're going to get the pattern, and you're going to get the Liberty fabric and the batting, and everything you need, basically, apart from the thread for your machine, for $14.99. And the zip as well. Yeah, the zip's in there too. So YIL197, an incredible deal. And remember, that pattern is reusable as many times as you like. I know, personally, lots of people that buy kits like this that then laminate the patterns, and they last for years and years and years. And you can make and sell any bags you wish to with whatever fabric you've got at home as well. But treat yourself. What I would do is buy this, treat yourself to the Liberty fabric, and then maybe use other fabrics you've had in your stash for some time to make for other people.
That's very naughty.
I know. But Liberty fabric, you've got to keep it for yourself, haven't you? Yeah? Liberty's luxury. YIL197, £14.99. And remember, the pattern itself normally is $9.99. So a great deal on that pattern today. More to come, though. We've got another, half an hour or so still with Kerry here on Wake Up with HobbyMaker.
Hi, I'm Julie. Join me on HobbyMaker this Wednesday for the launch of the Caterpillar. With a self-sharpening blade, it will slide through all your products with ease. We will also be launching the Caterpillar Crop and the Caterpillar Crease. So join me this Wednesday on HobbyMaker for the launch of the Caterpillar Pro Crease and Crop.
HobbyMaker are live from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day on Sky Channel 670, Freesat Channel 807 and Freeview Channel 73. You can also watch on YouTube via some smart TVs, your computer and phone. Good morning and thank you for tuning in for HobbyMaker. It's Wednesday, isn't it, today? Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday
Don't
morning.
ask me, I told you. I spent all day yesterday thinking it was Wednesday.
It's my first day back from a couple of weeks away, so I'm not quite sure what day of the week it is. Almost 7:30. I'm Dave Bradford. This is lovely Kerry, of course, a familiar face now on HobbyMaker as well as on Sewing Street. And remember, Kerry will be on Sewing Street between 8 and 1 today with Christmas and Halloween as well. So if you're in that market, then look out for that with Sewing Street. Is that with John this morning? Or
It's with Vicky this morning.
Vicky this morning. Okay, cool. Right, now, the next project we've got, and we've had 2 projects already. We did the iPad mini cover earlier on, which also doubles up as like an organizer cover too. This, though, is just a book cover. Now, it could be a notebook, it could be a diary, it could be a journal, could be a sketchbook, could be anything really that you want, but it's A5 in size, which I know for lots of you is a very, very popular size indeed. Now, this is an incredible offer. Not only are you going to get the fabric, you're going to get the wadding, you're going to get the pattern, you've also got a QR code that you can scan with your phone, which will take you to a YouTube tutorial. You can only access that tutorial with the QR code that's in this pattern, okay? So that's included with this. Now, what would you expect that to be, price-wise? Now, if you want the pattern on its own, it is £6.99, okay? £6.99, that's just the pattern on its own. If you've got loads of fabric and you want to use it up, and that's the perfect project for you to use that fabric up. And again, you can sell as many as you make. That's absolutely no problem at all. £6.99 for the pattern. That's CYL185, and that will have the QR code on it as well.
Right, yeah.
So if you just want that, you're not in the market for the fabric, that's absolutely fine, £6.99. And remember, it's a free phone number, and it's also free to order on our website as well, which is hobbymaker.co.uk.
If you've got a little bit of fabric in your stash.
Yeah. If you just want the pattern, if you don't necessarily want the fabric at all that's in here, I can't imagine you not wanting it when you see it in a second, but the cover, or the pattern, should I say, is just £6.99 on its own, CYL185. But if you want to go for the kit, this is going to give you the pattern, the QR code, Liberty fabric, and the ribbon. And the price of this, what would you expect this to be? £6.99 for the pattern is great. So what would you expect the whole kit with the fabric and the ribbon to be? Should be £14.99. Great. What are we going to do for you? Wake up with HobbyMaker, £9.99. £3 for all the Liberty fabric and the wadding and the ribbon. How have you done this?
Felt really kind when we were putting this
I know, I bet you did. You are being really kind. Now, the fabric itself, look at this. Look at this. Beautiful tones of blue, the pale and the rich for accent detailing. A little pocket in the front there for a pen as well. But this is your to-do book. I'm not going to kind of flick through it.
If you pull it on the ribbon, I've made sure there's no secrets in there.
Okay.
Secrets are at the front.
There you go. So happy. Love from Kerry. There you go. But that is your marker, your bookmark as well. But beautiful thing. It really is. I mean, maybe you've got a book like this sort of size by the side of your phone in the hallway or something like that. Or maybe it's going to be your book of recipes in the kitchen. It could be that you've got a 2023 diary that you want to get someone, or you want to get someone maybe just like a jotter or a sketchbook or whatever it might be. But you want to make it more special. You know, you can buy these sort of size diaries and jotters and notebooks from all sorts of stores for about £1, can't you?
My daughter uses it actually. She's studying now at college, so she uses it for a college book to pop it into when she's to-ing and fro-ing, and the little pocket on the side for a little slim highlighter in there as well.
Good idea. Maybe you're a tangler. We've got Sandra coming up tomorrow, by the way, 3 shows of Sandtangle tomorrow. Looking forward to that immensely. But yeah, if you are a tangler, maybe you've got your little sketchbooks you take with you, your tiles and that sort of thing. Why not have it in a beautifully handmade Liberty fabric cover? £9.99. And to be honest, we've all got people in our families and friends that we know, and you just don't know what to get them as a gift, whether it's the birthday, whether it's Christmas, whether it's anniversary, whatever. What can I get someone? Everyone needs a notebook.
Diary, and a diary as well. You know, it's the perfect size for a little diary. So I know the ladies who come to class last year, they went on a fad really of making lots of these and putting a diary in for their friends. So, you know, they've got a beautiful notebook cover. And it really was them that inspired me to do this kit this time of year, because I normally leave it till later in the year to do it. And, you know, I always ask for feedback. What do you think we should do next on HobbyMaker? And the girls last Wednesday said the book cover. So
good idea. Absolutely good idea. I mean, I've got lots of things that I can electronically put meetings in, work days, that sort of thing, but I don't use them. I tend to use an old-fashioned paper and...
Oh yeah, I'm old school.
Yeah,
I'm old
totally.
school.
And it's nice to mix the two,
I'd rather
actually.
break my back carrying a big heavy bag with all the notebooks so I know where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't beat a notebook, whether you're a doodler, an artist, or just an organiser, whatever it might be. So for under £10, you've got all this fabric. And if I just take the fabric out of the packaging as well, I'm glad we left this one till last, because obviously we have more people watching us from like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning than we do at 6 a.m, nice and early. So this is the best value of the entire show. There's your patterns. I won't show you the QR code because obviously you want to have that at home to actually scan it. But all the patterns here, you can laminate them if you want to.
Full-size templates as well for you.
Nice and simple.
Some of
and easy.
the only one actually I think in there is a cut on the fold is for your batting and your lining fabric.
Right.
And the lining, I mean, you're not going to see that once your book's on the interior anyway. So there's a plain grey there to coordinate.
And remember, the pattern not only has got all the templates in it and the written words, but you've also got lots of pictures step by step as well. So again, a good place for a beginner to start. But the fabrics, I can't believe you're only paying £3 for the fabric. I mean, the batting is also included. You don't have to buy a massive amount of batting and then cut it down and wonder what you're going to use the rest of it for. Batting's pre-cut for you. You will have to trim these down to the exact size. Loads of you coming in for this. But look at this. 10% of the stock is already gone. If you love your Liberty fabrics...
I particularly love the grey with a little day. I just think it's really subtle and beautiful.
Beautiful. Stunning. $9.99, BUL162. But how easy is it to make, Kerry? Simple?
Very, very easy. This is definitely the easiest project of the day. So let's start with, you'll always see my pockets with binding, so I've done exactly the same. And here I've just doodled on there what, which fabrics I'm going to use. You can doodle across there, or you can look at the recommendations that we've got there.
Do you get the same quantities of the dark and the lighter fabric? So if
no, there's less of the, let me have a think.
That's the dark.
Less of the dark,
Yeah,
that's right,
right.
yeah. So what we're going to do, I've put these out in the order. We're simply going A, B, C, D, E, and across to F. And we're going to sew these together in as a main panel for the exterior part. So the first thing is, same as every pocket we have, a little bit of binding. I mean, this really is a scrap busting project. This was, again, from the Fast Fat Quarter Fund. So what I found, those projects, there was limited amounts of fabric left, but you can see even with the slimmest scrappy pieces of fabric, you can make something really special and useful. So binding, as always, we're just folding that in half, aligning it along the top raw edge, and I'll sew that across 1/4 inch seam allowance, same as I have with all of the projects. And I mean, you can press this, but it really is a small piece, so I'm just going to finger score there.
If you don't want to put the pen holder on the front, you don't have to. You can leave that out.
No, you can leave that off if you want to. I mentioned my mum could probably do with a few of these because she's very good at losing pens. But if there is an opportunity to put a pen pocket on something, I always tend to, because you can never, if you've got your diary, you've got to jot something in,
Yeah.
you need your pen there to hand. But if you didn't want it in, you just skip that section, save a bit more
It's up to you.
fabric.
Yeah.
So using the same 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm just going to sew these together to create that exterior panel. Now I made this, I think I might have a sample just down here actually to show you, but I've got one of these, and every year I use one of these for my Christmas buying list, because I don't know whether we do a lot of things with family, so we'll sort of, you bring this, I'll bring this, so I've got one of these for my Christmas lists and to-dos as well.
Yeah, I mean, my other half, just lists for everything.
Yeah, I've got
Before we're going on the holiday, it was lists to do in the house, lists to take with us for holiday, lists to leave for someone that was going to cat
But
sit for us.
is your other half the same as me? So I do a list for everybody else, and then we went away recently. We went to an exhibition, and I hadn't taken my straighteners and my hairdryer. And I naturally have curly hair, and because it's short, it sort of spirals up. So I was like, I've got everything for everybody else, except for me.
Well, I'm the world's worst. I don't make a list for anything. I just kind of wing it.
Hope for the best.
And I'm always leaving things behind. I had like 2 phone calls yesterday. You've left this behind, you've left this behind. So I had to spend like half an hour at the supermarket yesterday buying things that I'd forgotten that I'd left at home. So yeah, I should take a leaf out of my other half's book. But
We're the same. So when we go away and do an exhibition, my parents and my mother and father-in-law will sort of split having the kids and the duties, running around and doing all of that.
Well, I left my keys behind. I couldn't get into the studio this morning. I was so grateful when I saw you. I thought,
Well, I was
you can
here
let me
bright
in.
and early
Yeah,
this
yeah,
morning.
you were.
Actually, when I got here, it was all in darkness, and I thought, am I that early? You know, a bit like when I do the school run, there's no cars, and I'm like, am I just early, or is there a half term or something I've missed? Yeah, so I must get better at writing my own lists.
Yeah, me too.
But I generally tend to get in the car, think we've picked everything up at the kids, and we'll just about be pulling out the street. It's like, you've left, and it's always my phone. You left your phone on the side. Got all the kids' bags.
Yeah.
Got all their mountains of things that they've taken for like 2 nights.
I think you and me are very similar.
Yeah. But the Christmas thing, I wouldn't be able to, because of course so much happens in the year. It's so easy to forget lots of things, isn't it?
And of course, this book could be that to-do list. It could be what you've needed, or again, the gift to give someone that's got everything. You know, my mum and dad now are of an age where everything they want, they've got. And they're
I
very,
did
very
actually
tricky to
do
buy
this
from.
for Father's Day a couple of years ago, actually.
That
and
went
I
down
did
well,
for-
didn't it?
Yeah, well, I know my husband's always got a to-do list from me, and I know my father-in-law's always got a to-do list, so it was like Grandad's to-do list, and my mother-in-law loved his gift. I'm not so sure whether he did, to be honest, but she loved it because, of course, she can fill it up with all the jobs he's got to do.
Yeah.
So what I've done here is we've got the front of the book cover. Now you can see on the front of there is also some little hexes. So if you want to use up your little remnants, you can cut those out. You can either hand sew these on, or you can machine sew these. In the tutorial, I show you how to machine sew.
Or you can
these
leave them off if you want to.
Or you can leave them off. So for this one today, I'm going to leave them off, or you can personalise these as well. So these are for the inside of the book, which is going to hold your book in place. We've got 2 pieces of these. I'm simply going to press these in half.
Remember, the book size on this cover is A5, so it's a really easy book size to find in your local high street stores or stationers.
And again, here you can use a decorative stitch, or you can just leave it folded. I'm going to zigzag stitch this one.
Okay. I mean, lots of sketchbooks come in A5 size now as well. So it could be that you're an artist or a budding artist, a tangler, whatever you do.
I mean, my main diary is an A4 diary. I like a big diary where I can write lots of things in there. But yeah, I think probably the average sort of book size you'd be working with is your A5, isn't it? Like, especially your ones that you're doodling in, or just keeping notes, or your shopping list. You just have to remember to take them back out. I've been to the shopping centre so frequently and seen people's, lists of things, and I think, I wonder whether they got everything on that list. I'll have a look, see if their list looks similar to mine, and I'll follow that around the store. So this is how easy this project is to put together. Now, if you're putting those hexagons on there, then that'll take a little bit more time. Again, if you're going to quilt this, a little bit of 505. In fact, I will, because I think we've got just enough time to do this. So on here, all I'm going to do is a straight line along each of those seams there.
Now, just let everybody know, we're very busy this morning. It's 20 to 8 just after. Now, if everyone that's got this in their basket checks out, 60% of the available stock of this has gone. It is, I just think, one of those kind of light bulb moments. You think, that's what I can make for a member of my family. That's what I can make for my best friend. Someone like me always leaves things behind because they never have a list. This could be your to-do list, it could be a sketchbook, it could be recipe books, it could be whatever you want it to be. Sketchbook, $9.99, and remember the pattern alone is $6.99. So you can buy the pattern on its own. It's got the QR code, which if you're not familiar with that, it's basically those little square blocks that you can scan on your phone. That will take you to a YouTube demonstration of Kerry actually making this. Of course, you're getting that demonstration on the show today live anyway, but when it comes in the next couple of days, if you forget what she did, you can access that. You've also, as well as that, got the wadding and the Liberty fabric for basically £3, because the kit is $9.99. Liberty fabric and the pattern, which means you can make this again and again and again, no matter how many times you make it. What would you sell a book cover for like that? You could probably sell them for $9.99.
Yeah, absolutely, no less either. One of the things that we get asked all of the time is, what should I charge? And that's definitely the hardest question to answer, because that's your decision.
Yeah.
But something like this, I would always say minimum really of $9.99.
Yeah, you can get a book like that easily from the high street for £1. I've seen them myself. So what I would do is buy the book, make the covers and sell them, not just as covers, but with the book inside it. You'd easily get $9.99 for that. Yeah. Nice little second business or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Or your main one, like mine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's where I started doing things like craft fairs.
A few extra pennies, always good to maybe supplement your income or whatever, or go out on your own like Kerry's done.
When we sew, you run out of things that you need for yourself. So I know a lot of people will make these and do it for charity. So if you're doing it and even gifting your time, but you're raising money, it's a nice way to use up your skill and your hobby as well.
But also, of course, if you work and you've got colleagues and they know what you do, the chances are, I mean, I know so many people that get inundated with requests for cards, but if they know that you sew and can do things like this and take one of these into work with you maybe, or to a social group or whatever, and just say, these are what I'm making, anyone fancy these for Christmas? They're only $9.99 each or something like that. I'm sure you'd be inundated.
Well, that's exactly how my business started. I went to my first fabric shop and just saw all the colours of beautiful fabrics, and I was on maternity leave with my youngest son Chase, and I said to my husband, oh gosh, I really want this. I really want to live in loveliness, and that's how I felt in that shop.
And that's the name of your business.
And that's the name of my business. And the first thing I ever made was a little mini stocking advent garland, and you can put photo albums on Facebook. I called the album Living in Loveliness. And then, not to sell, just that's what I was making. It was keeping me busy while, children were sleeping. And then I started getting messages saying, are you selling your Living in Loveliness collections? And that's really where my business started. So
you didn't actually
intend
set out
to do it? No. No, I bought
Now
that much stash. I just had to have an excuse to keep buying.
It's fabulous,
and it
isn't it?
snowballed from there. So we've got these insides of the book now. What we're going to do, I've zigzagged across here, is pop those onto the sides, so we're lining those raw edges. And then taking the lining fabric, so yours again will come with that grey fabric on the centre. And then we're just going to slide, let's use the clips again, couple of clips. Again, we've got the layers of your batting in here, so we want to leave, again, about a 3.5 inch turning gap is absolutely fine there. Just going to trim that. So what you can often find when you're working with a batting is that your batting will shrink the project.
Oh, really?
So you might, so you might need to, it'll still
Or
fit
does it
your
constrict
book
or?
It can shrink it just by a little bit, so that's why I've got this little overhang here. So just clipping these into place, your book will still fit in. And we're going to sew around all 4 edges, leaving that turning gap.
Okay,
so
lovely.
starting and finishing there with that reverse stitch.
I can't believe in less than 2 hours you've done all 3 projects this morning. That's pretty good going. So it shows you, okay, Kerry's a professional, this is her job, this is what she does. But, if you are new, this is the perfect way to start. Are these some of the first projects you ever did?
These are some of the first projects, and they're nice, easy projects. And, even if you're making this for the first time, they are fast to sew up. Each of them are fast to sew up. Often the time is spent in your preparation, so your cutting of your fabrics. So what I tend to do, a bit like when I come to do a show, is cut everything. So have a bit of a production line of cutting everything out, and then have a nice sewing session. So if you're making these for family, for gifts or for craft fairs, as we've mentioned, cut 10. I always used to do 10 of everything.
Right.
Because it speeds up your process. And then you can, make 10 different colours.
Sure. Now, check out, everyone that's checked out, half the stock is now gone, but there are many, many more of you with them in your basket. So if you want the kit, whereby, remember, the actual kit itself includes the pattern. Now, the pattern is $6.99 on its own. For $9.99, you get the Liberty fabric, you also get the batting, and you also, of course, get no, there's no zip in that one, is there? So basically, it's the fabric and the ribbon. You get the ribbon in there as well. So all of that for just £3, basically.
Oh, do you know,
$9.99.
we're talking about the ribbon, and I've forgotten to put the ribbon in. That's it, I've got ahead of myself. Just to mention, the ribbon isn't in the tutorial or the booklet. It was something I added afterwards. So let me just...
Now, I've just got to show you, we do have a pack of ribbon in the show as well. 10 1-metre pieces of ribbon from Living in Loveliness with Kerry. If you fancy that, in all these variety of colours, $2.99. It says 1 10-metre piece. No, it's 10 1-metre pieces, okay, for £2.99. That's 29p a metre, which is pretty amazing. There we go, in all those colours. You've got purple, green, pink,
It'll be a
yellow.
mixture as well, so
Yeah.
they'll vary those ones.
Okay, BPL 174, if you want to stock up on your ribbon. You've got organza and satin ribbon in there as well. BPL 174, just $2.99. And remember, if you buy more than one thing in a day, you only ever pay $3.95 P&P for your entire quantity of orders you've made from midnight to midnight. So if you've bought something already, maybe you bought the $9.99 book cover, and the pattern and everything, and you want the ribbon now, and you've already placed the order for the book cover, order it now on the free phone number. It'll just be $2.99, and that will be delivered free of charge to you because you've already paid your $3.95 P&P. Now, we've had a message from Susan. Hello, Susan, in Bridgend. Susan says, oh, hello, where is it? Oh, yeah. Morning, both of you. Could you please show the iPad cover again? Thank you. Sue in Bridgend, of course we can. Now, we started our show with the iPad cover. We'll come back to the book cover in just a sec. But Sue, if you want it, this again is A5, so it doesn't have to be an iPad you put in there. It could be a book. And that's what we've got in here, in actual fact, another A5 book. But the iPad is what this was designed for and made with very much in mind. You've got pen holders here. You've got little pockets over here as well. The pattern's included too. This again is Liberty fabric combined with Michael Miller fabric. Wadding included and the ribbon included as well to act as the fastener. But that is a perfect iPad mini size, okay? So if you've got maybe I don't know if a Kindle's A5?
A Kindle will fit in there as well, yeah.
Okay, so it's not just iPads, you can put a Kindle in there too. Actually, that's brilliant. If you're taking a Kindle away with you for reading on holiday or weekends away, you're probably scared to death you're going to damage the screen or scratch it or something like that.
That's why we made this, because I know exactly what my little boy's like, so you know.
But look at the pattern of the fabric, isn't it gorgeous?
And, you know, we had the batting packs on earlier as well. If you wanted to add that extra layer of batting, there's no reason why. In my demonstration today, in the pattern booklet, I only put one layer of batting. If you wanted to add an extra layer, you can double up there on the batting as well if you just want it even thicker. And
that's why we actually have brought you the extra batting that we've got for you today. 55.8 centimetres by 91.4, so it's almost a metre by half a metre. 45 inches by 36. If you want extra batting, that is available, and that's in the show as well today. And it's things like that, the accessories, the extra zips that you need, the extra ribbon you might need, all of that. If you're paying $2.99 per item, which you can do elsewhere, the P&P soon racks up and it becomes very expensive. Our P&P is capped at $3.95, no matter how many things you buy in any 24-hour period from midnight to midnight. So there you go, Sue. That's the details if you want to have the iPad kit, but it will fit a Kindle or an A5 book as well. WXL 184. Everything in there that you need for $15.99. And yes, the pattern is reusable over and over again, and you can sell what you make as well with your own fabrics at home, no problem at all. Okay.
We've got you covered, haven't we? We've got your diary, we've got your notebook cover, section for your pens, for your tangling. Then we've got your cosmetic bag, and they all coordinate. We wanted them to coordinate today as well.
Perfect.
So I forgot to put the ribbon in. I'm very sorry I forgot to put the ribbon in. So just to show you what I did here, I mean, put this in before you start, but if, like me, you're a bit forgetful and you've forgotten, open up a couple of stitches there in the centre. To do that, all I've done is folded this in half, unstitched a few of those stitches, put the ribbon through, brought that up to the top. It doesn't really matter if it's twisted anyway, but I'm just making sure it's not twisted. Slide a pin through, and then we'll just sew across.
Okay.
This was never in the pattern originally, and because this pattern's been around for a little while, one of the ladies who made lots of these asked for how she'd put some ribbon in to mark the pages on her diary. So that's why I'd put the ribbon in there today as an extra bonus, really. So into the corner, we're just going to trim. Now, because I'm working with batting, I always trim on both sides, and it just removes some of that bulk and gives you a nice finish there on your book cover. And again, as we turn this inside out, so poking into the furthest corner, pushing this through, making that look more complicated than it actually is. That's normally the easy bit.
Yeah.
Pushing the corners out. Now, a nice little pokey tool or stiletto, dotting tool, anything there to really push those corners out. And there we have your book cover.
Perfect.
With your ribbon. So give this a little press, push those seams onto the inside, and definitely hand stitch this to finish with. So a nice slip stitch on there. Again, this is in your tutorial and your step-by-step instructions. And just to give this one final press and a top stitch around the edge before you're ready to slide.
And you've made really quite a mundane thing, a notebook, into something that is beautiful.
Well, this is it. You know, you mentioned you can go and you can pick up a notebook for £1. You certainly can do that. And I know that's exactly what I do when I'm making these, you know, and just using really remnants. So if you've got the pattern, you can use this time and time again. I mean, little teeny tiny pieces here like we've used for the binding. I'd hate to think anybody would ever throw those away, but that's definitely one of the reasons not to throw your fabric away, because they come in for the binding.
I could just imagine going into a craft fair and seeing a stall that's just got nothing other than notebooks. Some of them could be diaries, some of them could be sketchbooks, but some of them could just be lined notebooks. And I bet that will be a stall that everyone will go to, because everyone needs them as gifts. Everyone will use them. No one will get a notebook as a gift and not use it.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
And, you know, how many times have you had things...
Whether my husband opens it and reads his to-do list is questionable, but, you know, it'll definitely be used by me, that's for sure.
Shall we recap on the 3 kits that we've had? This one... Now, we've still got the iPad details on the screen at the moment, so that isn't for the book cover. This is what you're going to be getting if you want the iPad cover. Having said that, though, you can easily put an A5 book in there or a Kindle in there as well if you want to. Anything A5 in size will fit in there. This is, again, Michael Morris fabric is the darker fabric, and the heavier pattern is Liberty fabric, so it's absolutely gorgeous. It really, really is. So that's that particular kit. Now, the cosmetics bag. Now, I don't know how many of these we've got left, but it was a very popular choice earlier on. It doesn't have to be cosmetics. It could be for anything. It could be for your crafting pens, all sorts of goodies. Again, this is Liberty fabric in the blue. You've got that lovely light kind of spring colour formation there with the light blue and the lime green. And then this beautiful, it's like a gold colour, like a mustardy gold colour. Ochre, someone said. Michael, our director, said that earlier on. You've got 2 little pockets on the outside as well. Zip included as well. And that is £14.99. And remember, the patterns on all of these are reusable time and time again with other fabrics that you've got at home, and you can sell what you make without any trouble at all. And then the last item on the show that we've just demonstrated, perfectly timed by the way, the book cover. Again, it's the same size. I love having
the clock just there. It helps me manage my
demo.
Absolutely.
I never look at it. You've got the A5 book cover. There it is. That could be, again, a doodle book. It could be just a to-do list. It could be a diary, whatever you want to do with it. And again, this is £6.99 just for the pattern. But if you spend £3 more, £9.99, you're going to get, of course, the fabric and the pattern as well. And over half the stock of this is gone. All of these kits are on the website if you want to have a little look, including, of course, the extra bozal and the ribbon and that pack of zips as well. Now, Kerry's not done. She is going to be over on Soming Street between 8 and 1. You're next on at 9 o'clock?
9 and 11.
9 and 11. OK. Thank you, Kerry. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your company. Great to be back. I will be back with you at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Don't forget, 3 o'clock this afternoon, we are launching Caterpillar here on HobbyMaker. Not to be missed.
Hi, I'm Julie. Join me on HobbyMaker this Wednesday for the launch of the Caterpillar. With a self-sharpening blade, it will slide through all your products with ease. We will also be launching the Caterpillar crop and the Caterpillar crease. So join me this Wednesday on HobbyMaker for the launch of the Caterpillar Pro crease and crop.